everyone. We are live on Facebook, and I've been saying that we are having so much fun with that.
So much fun live.
And I have with me, oh my God, Roland Bennett.
Testing. Is this thing on?
Roland Bennett is one of my favorites that I have had on my show. We were just trying to figure it out. He said 40 years that we've been doing this, but I've known you for at least 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is.
Well, I'll tell you what. You always say that same opening. Is this, you got this here?
I don't know.
Testing.
Hear you.
Okay, all right. As long as everybody out there in the Savage Nation can hear this, we got people out there on 1100 a.m. driving down the road listening, right? And we're going to talk about mortgages today. And, Carol, you are the greatest. That's why I don't come back here because of anything other than it's so much fun being with you. Congratulations on a full decade running your show.
Thank you.
I wish you decades more of this.
You're such
just
a
so
sweetheart.
I can come down here and be a part of your show. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know what? It is great working with you. Roland, you have been doing what you do for a very long time, and you're an expert at it.
Well, some would say that. So I'm a mortgage lender. I finance people's real estate. If you have a house, I can get you money, and your house is collateral, right? The essence of the mortgage. And I've been financing people through refinances for whatever reason they're needing to do. Most of the time, it's buying a house, it's purchase money, creative financing. We'll get into a lot of the different things that I do. But this is 2018. We're almost done with 2018. We're coming into 2019. This is crazy, and we're making mortgages great again.
Well, you know what I really like about you is you're a numbers guy. You're a huge numbers guy.
Huge.
And
just
you make
huge.
it happen.
Excuse me. I'm a gigantic numbers guy, okay? Look, and these people back here on the Facebook Live, they won't even... No, I'm joking. I promise.
This is what I love
I think I signed a contract that we couldn't do that anymore on this show.
No.
Well, on this show we can.
Yeah, you could do it on my show.
Okay, just as long as there's no
on my show.
suspicious
as long as we're
packages.
not talking about anything naughty, it's really
well,
okay.
There's nothing naughty. This is a family show and a family business, and I've got my 6-year-old daughter in the studio. If you can see it on Facebook Live.
You can wave to everybody.
And Harper is in the house, and we want to say hi to Catalina at home and Mommy, too. So it's very special. They're on the couch listening to us. So
look at how she's so excited now. I love
Facebook
it.
Live. We got to get her groomed, because she's 6 right now, and she's already starting to build her credit, which is one thing I want to talk to people about is building your credit early, right? Like that's the one thing in high school that nobody's ever taught. Is credit.
It's
and then
awesome.
you get to college, right? And you're walking down the street, and they're like, "Hey, you want a free hat?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah, I need a hat." Okay, fill out this credit thing. Then you fill out the credit thing. You have no idea what it is. Sooner or later, you got a credit card in the mail. You go spend some money on it. You don't pay the bill. Your credit's shot for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to start teaching the kids about credit and about real estate financing as early as we possibly can. Harper is in kindergarten. She has an 815 credit score, and as soon as she gets her first W-2 salary job, she'll be able to.
I just snorted.
As soon as she's 18, she could buy a house. So her plan, and here's a great plan out there, and I can help people if you have kids in high school that are going to college, and you're wondering how to finance my kids' room and board, right? Because college is cheap nowadays, right?
Really?
Not very. Well, no, wait a minute.
It's
very expensive. Yeah. So here's the plan. Here's what Harper's going to be doing. She's going to be living in her house that she owns. Maybe
she's got an 875.
It's probably going to be like a fourplex, but she's going to rent those other 3 units out to other college students in her class so that we're going to be cash flowing her positive, hopefully enough to pay for the books and some of the tuition while she's in school, having those renters pay down that equity. So by the time she graduates college, if she's able to successfully manage the property that she lives in her college town, then her gift is the equity when she sells that that property once she goes and starts her own life. And I think a lot of parents love the idea of that. They just don't know what that looks like, and that's what I can help kind of map out is college room and board financing through rental properties while your kid's in school. How about that one?
I love it. And let me just say something about Roland, is that he is all about making it creative. It's a creative way of getting you the house you always wanted, Okay,
right.
money.
Well, it's tough
and
out
I
there
love
these
the look.
days.
I'm loving the way that you just said that, because it's also, I guarantee you, the way people are thinking in these days. What can I do down the line, okay, that I'm going to be able to make money off a house that I'm living in? It's perfect to be able to rent it out to people.
Absolutely.
And make money and then sell it. And this is an awesome way. What about interest rates? What's
well, I
going
get
on
that.
with that?
I get that a lot. You know, of course, you go to if you're a mortgage lender or a realtor. Every family function you go to, you get just banged with what are the rates, you know? Right. So what's the housing market look like? And not all aunts and uncles sound like that, but most do, especially in the Midwest. And you get back there, and that's what people want to know. And guess what? Rates are higher than they were 3 years ago.
Right.
And they're lower than they were 6 years ago. And they're higher than maybe what they might be next spring, and probably lower than what they'll be 2 years from now. So the point of that is that rates, they go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. Right now we're in an environment where rates are continuing to go up. But I talk to my parents, and I talk to, anybody when I pull their credit, and I have they have a birth date in the 40s or 50s, and we talk about interest rates. They laugh at the fact that people think 5.25% is this exorbitantly high rate, because
yeah, but it's really
like,
not.
I remember when I had 19% and I thought I was getting away with murder, and the same thing with housing. Every time people talk about interest rates, they also want to know about housing. What's going on with housing? Do I buy now? When's the best time to buy? So if you go from 1900 to 2020, right? The line of home values on average is going to be on an up line, right? The whole time. If you draw a straight line from today to 1900, values are higher. Most likely they'll continue on that. Are there little dips and valleys, peaks and valleys in the real estate market? Yes, there are. Are there going to be? I get first-time home buyers. The one thing they're really worried about is, I'm just so nervous to buy because I knew somebody that bought, 10 years ago, and then they lost all the value and it wasn't worth anything anymore. And that was, I could do a 2-hour show on that. I think they did do a 2-hour show. It's called The Big Short, and you could go see that on Netflix. But the thing is now is that actually people have to prove that they can make a mortgage payment and actually have to bring money to the table to buy a house. So when the housing market is propped up by people that can actually pay their mortgages, it'll continue to go. And baby boomers, right? They're retiring like crazy. 50 million baby boomers set to retire in the next 5 to 7 years. That's a lot. Guess where they're coming? They're coming to Scottsdale, baby.
Absolutely.
Phoenix,
it's a number
Arizona.
one place to live.
Absolutely. There's no hurricanes. There's no mudslides. There's no tornadoes.
And even when it's hot, it's fine. You're in your car or you're in a home.
And the only thing that irks me is we used to be able to say there's no mosquitoes, but I've had some mosquitoes lately. Have you gotten any mosquitoes? Anyway, let's get some websites out there, Carol, because we need to get people connected, and we need to get people in homes.
Well, first of all, you want to call or text him. The phone number is 602-513-3686. Now, you could check him out on his website, which is Roland Bennett Loans, and it's Bennett Loans with an S.
Yes.
.com.
And you could just go onto Google and Google Roland Bennett Mortgage, and it'll pull you to my website. My info will be on there because I know, it's tough. You're driving down I-10 right now, or you're on the 51 or the 101 listening to Carol's show. I think there's... I did check the stats, and I think there was something around 17 million listeners to the Carol Blonder Show on every. Was that the?
At every
did I see
given
that right?
time.
I saw the billboard. So you're driving down the street. Now we don't want you to text and drive, right? You took the pledge. Leave the cell phone in the car. You're never going to remember the number. All you got to remember is go on to Carol Blonder's Networking Arizona Facebook page. Google it up on Facebook.
You can watch it right now live.
You can pull up the show live. You can pull it up later. Google Roland Bennett Mortgages. Here's what I'm going to do for your listeners today. I'm giving a free credit analysis. I will run your credit, and I will tell you exactly what you need to do to get as close to a 760 as possible. Why is that important? 760 right now is the mark you want to be at for the lowest prices in mortgage insurance and also interest rates. So that's the whole game today, is getting people's credit up. And that's one thing I specialize in, is taking people from any credit under a 760 to a 760.
Absolutely. Now, the number to call here for that is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. It is all about getting to a 760. I'm in. I would love a 760.
Well,
I know a lot of people.
I'm sure you're well over a 760.
But anyway, I'm special. But anyway,
you're fiscally responsible.
You can call them direct. That phone number is 602-513-3686, or call in here, and I'm letting everyone call throughout the rest of the show for all of this. It's a free credit analysis. Get yourself to a 760 score with Roland Bennett. You can check him out. It's RolandBennettLoans.com.
See you after the break.
Testing.
I hear you.
Just wanted.
If I traded it all, if I gave it all away for one thing.
Welcome back.
I just love that song, Carol. Oh, that sounds great. I love that song. You know, I hear that song. I'm driving down because my radio, I actually was able to fix my radio to the only channel that I get on my car radio is 1100 AM. And I hear that song, and actually it only works between 3 and 5 on Tuesdays and Fridays. So, but anyway, I don't know where you got that song, but I heard it somewhere else.
Yeah,
and,
it's One Thing by Finger 11.
And I think of you every time I hear that.
Well,
such a great tune.
Much.
Such a great tune.
Roland Bennett, I love Roland because he's just the greatest guy.
I
and
love
he's
you,
fun.
Carol.
And but here the thing is he's all about helping you out there to get to what you need to get maybe into the house that you really would love to be in. I mean, it's all about that American dream, but having money, not just, necessarily. If you own a home now, you ought to get money out of your home. It's what you got it for. Am I correct on that?
Well, I mean, they haven't completely eliminated the mortgage interest write-off and the property tax write-off. And the renting a home is great because, the dishwasher goes out. You don't really need to, fix it, so to speak. You just call your landlord. But I've got a rental house, and one of the biggest complaints that I have every time I put a new renter in is they were told they had to leave because their landlord was selling, or their landlord was doing something else, or they got short sold, or they had to let go of the house. And now all of a sudden you're renting a house, and without anything that you did, you're kind of being forced out. Now, if I listed everything that I've done in my life from most fun to least fun, moving is on the bottom of the list. You know what I mean? And when you're a renter, you're moving all the time. And so, but what's really cool is that when you're a homeowner, you can start to build that equity and then use that equity to actually acquire more property to build more equity. And then the great thing is when you own a house that a renter lives in, the renter is paying your principal, building your equity for you. And you're continuing to build that equity. So I help people do that because a lot of people, they own the home. They're, well, I want to buy a rental property, but I don't have the income to cover both mortgages.
So let me ask you something, too. You said that it takes 760 now. You're getting into people to get a good credit score.
So rates and insurance, mortgage insurance, if you put less than 20% down, and interest rates are all based on credit score, and it's called a price. And this is one thing I spent a lot of time on the phone explaining to people is that interest rates don't ever change, right? 4.25 is always 4.25.
Right.
So that doesn't change per se. What changes is the price associated with that rate.
Okay.
In conventional financing, for all conforming rates, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac rates, if you have a 760, you get the best rates. But every 20-point increment that you drop below a 760, 740, 720, 700, 680, 660, 640 to a minimum 620 that you have to have, that rate starts to get more expensive. The price of the rate goes up.
Okay.
So if you're a 660, you might have, it would cost you 3%. If you put 5% down and you have a 660 credit score, it'll cost you 3 points in fees, 3% of your loan amount. You got a $200,000 loan, your 5% or whatever the rate may be for the 760 will cost you $6,000 because you're a 660, not a 760. So it's really important to get into underwriting with the highest credit possible.
And so you do these free credit analyses that you do for people, but explain what's different about what you do as to what everybody else does.
Well, let me paint the picture for you. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they have underwriting guidelines. FHA, underwriting guidelines. VA, underwriting guidelines. On average, every mortgage loan, their underwriting guidelines are roughly 800 pages long. Like the underwriter, you're an underwriter sitting there deciding whether or not to approve this mortgage. Your rules, your underwriting guideline form is literally 800 to 900 pages long, right?
That's crazy.
On average, no matter what type of loan I submit in any of the 16 states I'm licensed in, so if you do have property outside of Arizona, I can help you there. If you have any family members that are realtors, I can help them help their buyers in the 16 states I'm in. Just call me and find out if I'm in your state. But anyway, when I submit a loan to underwriting, the average loan, perfect credit, W-2, wage earner, slam dunk, A paper, easy schmeezy, can get the loan done anywhere. That's a 500-page loan submission. Like the PDF that gets submitted to underwriting is 500 pages that they're underwriting to an 800-page underwriting guidelines. It's complicated.
It is complicated. And when you work with people, though, you've done this forever.
Well, we make sure that before they make an offer on a house, we know exactly what loan program they're going to get qualified for. And we know that they may be a 700 credit, and I'll let them know if there's an opportunity to go to a 760 and save a little bit on the rate.
Well, let me ask you something, too. You mentioned first-time home buyers, okay? And I want to talk a little bit about that because there's some programs out there that I would absolutely love to talk about that I know that are for those first-time home buyers.
There's actually a really great one right now out there.
What is it?
And it's a Fannie Mae program, and it was their answer to the FHA loan. So a lot of times people think, oh, first-time home buyer, FHA. Well, not necessarily anymore. FHA carries a 3.5% minimum down payment, plus they charge a 1.75% funding fee and mortgage insurance up front added to the loan. Then they charge you mandatory mortgage insurance for the life of the loan, no matter how long you have the house or the mortgage, or how much you put down. Doesn't matter. There's a new conventional loan, not newish, but most people don't know about it. It's called Fannie Mae Home Ready. Freddie Mac has theirs. It's called Home Possible. It's the same kind of thing. And but what it is, it allows for 3% down. Now, it's not just for first-time home buyers, which is great, but it's designed for first-time home buyers. You get 3% down, and they only charge you the mortgage insurance as if you put 10% down. So it's discounted mortgage insurance. Normally, the less the down, the lower the down payment, the higher the mortgage insurance. And 3%, 5%, 10%, 15%, and then at 20, you don't have any. So, but this allows a 3% down payment with mortgage insurance charged as if you put 10% down, which is awesome. Plus, they limit the price hits that can go onto the credit as well. So somebody with a 680 can get a 740 rate on this Home Ready program.
And he can show you how he can do that. He does free credit analysis for everyone, and he has 16 states that he works with as well. I'm not going to say them all right now. You could check him out on his website, which is Roland Bennett Loans with an S.com. You can also call here and or call him direct.
Call me direct.
602-513-3686. Roland's been doing this for the longest time, and I know
16 years.
You absolutely love
I do.
doing what you do.
Well, I love math. That was just one thing that I loved in school and college, and I love math, but I also love being a problem solver. I love the challenge of taking something that maybe normally wouldn't be a slam dunk easy loan,
right,
and turning it into a slam dunk easy loan. And I've gotten the most success from that with self-employed people.
I was just going to mention that because that's what I wanted to talk about.
I'm also, even more importantly than a free credit analysis, if you're self-employed, you're a business owner, you know about credit, you understand that you need to borrow money, pay it back, don't be late, right? Don't have collections, and you have good credit. But what I will do for a self-employed borrower that either owns a home or wants to buy a home is I will give a free tax return analysis, and I will underwrite their business tax returns and tell them exactly today, based on last year's tax returns, exactly what they would qualify for if they went to buy a house, and then and I could tell them exactly what they would need to show in income when they file their 2018 if they want to buy a house next year, because right now is the time to start planning.
So that person that's doing that, Roland, I want to ask you a question about something. That is a tax return, so that is an analysis on their tax return.
Well, underwriting guidelines, it's all about effective income in underwriting.
Okay.
Right? Like the underwriter is going to determine what your income is.
Right.
Now, if you're a W-2 salaried employee, right, you got a $50,000 base salary, teacher, it's very easy to determine what your income is.
Right.
It's $50,000 a year.
Right.
But when you're self-employed and you file, you have two companies, and
Right.
one's on an 1120S and one you're filing a 1065 partnership return, and you got two rental properties that you're putting on a different Schedule E, on a different 1120S that you run through, or you have it on your personal, or you're filing your sole proprietorship through your Schedule C on your personal tax returns. I can help
He's
you
amazing.
I can help you with where to take the deductions, not anything other than all above bar, right? Creativity does not mean doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Creativity is, let's make sure that we're taking the deductions that you're already taking in the right spots on the tax return, because when a Fannie Mae underwriter gets your file, if your deduction, if this number is on that exact line on your tax return, then they have to count it or not count it, right?
Now,
For example, right? Business miles, pool people, right? Especially pool people or whoever drives around a lot, right? Service people. There's two ways you can write off your auto expenses. You can write off your auto expenses as far as how much you've spent on gasoline and how much you spent on the car, right? Or you can write off the miles. If you write off the miles, I can add income back into your income for qualifying. You write off the gas, you can't.
Let me tell you something about Roland Bennett. Roland Bennett has been doing this for 16 years. He absolutely loves what he does, and he's all about numbers. Check him out. It's RolandBennettLoans.com or 602-513-3686.